Thank you, Greg, for that very kind introduction. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Kia ora. Can I say from the start that I'm very pleased to be speaking with you all this afternoon and taking part in Digital Health Week. Over the next few days, you'll hear a good many expert speakers talking about their areas of expertise. Well, I'm here to tell you that I'm not one of them. I'm not a clinician, a technician, an IT expert, a researcher. What I'd like to do this afternoon is relate to you the lived experience of a person with a disability and how that disability and how the technology has helped me through that disability. Equally, in the next few days, I'd like to catch up with a few of you, not all of you obviously, to have a chat one-on-one, because I'd like to expand on a few things I'm about to say this afternoon. Now, if you're a Kiwi, and there's a good chance of that, I suspect, could we please not talk about the rugby? On the 25th of November 2015, I was badly injured in the Pinery bushfires. The Pinery bushfires occurred in the mid-north of South Australia, lasted for about 7 days. They decimated over 85,000 hectares of farmland, destroyed 35 homes, and damaged many more. There were 2 fatalities. Unfortunately, I wasn't found straight after the burn due to the fact that the road was closed. But when I was found by a policeman. He put me into the back seat of his police car and really hammered the car to get me as fast as possible to a rural hospital. There I was airlifted to the Royal Adelaide Hospital. I was looked after by the good staff of the ICU and the second-to-none staff of the burns unit of the Royal Adelaide Hospital. If it hadn't been for those 2 organisations' good work, then I wouldn't be here talking to you this afternoon. They saved my life. Let me just gather my thoughts. Count to 10, so I'm sorry about this. There is a protocol between ICU and the burns unit that says if a person comes in with 80% burns to their body or more and with permanent lung damage, then there's very little that they can do for them. Well, I was very lucky to be on the right side of that decision that evening. I sustained burns to 75% of my body, and most of those burns are what they call full thickness burns. Now, at the risk of sounding like the Black Knight from the Monty Python film The Holy Grail, as a result of those full thickness burns, I lost my right arm, my left hand, my right eye, my ears, severe damage to my left eye, and sustained permanent lung damage. I spent about 2.5 months in an induced coma in ICU. Of course, I don't remember too much of that, but what I do remember are the dreams. Some of the dreams were funny, some were sad, some were scary, a couple were erotic, but I won't bore you with those. I know it boggles the mind, but there we go. What's so funny about that? But never mind. Never mind. But there is one dream that I would like to relate to you because it has had an effect on me, if you like, post the accident. I dreamt I was in a very large green tent. Now, I spent most of my working life in the Army, Australian Army, so I guess that's where the green tent came from. But I was lying on a stretcher, and I look around me, and I'm in a circle of stretchers, if you like, and on each one of these stretchers is an old man. These were wizened old men. They looked like they were on their last legs. And I'm wondering why I'm there. There was a small fire in the centre of the tent, only a small one, obviously, and coming from the fire was some sort of aromatic smoke. I noticed that there was a person moving from stretcher to stretcher, and he was getting closer to me. And all of a sudden, I realised that these old men were being given their last rites. Of course, I was shocked. I panicked. What am I doing here? I'm not ready for my last rites. There must be some mistake. They put me in the wrong tent. This is the dying tent. Well, of course, I got out of that tent. And I believe that at that time, and I was very sick in ICU, my kidneys had packed in, I was on dialysis, it was touch and go. I believe that that was the time my body decided to turn the corner. Now, I'm not an overtly religious man, but I believe that that was my, if you like, white light experience. You either move towards the white light or you do not. My body decided that it wasn't time, and as I said, it wanted to turn the corner and get well. I came to in the burns unit. I spent a year in hospital. It was a fairly torrid time, very busy time. I was in a lot of pain. There was a lot of pain medication, opiates, a lot of hallucinations. I had a lot of donor sites that had to heal. But one thing I do remember was that I got a visit sometime during that year, from a lady from an organisation called the Lifetime Support Authority. Now, they are a state-run organisation, a South Australian state-run organisation that look after people who have had very bad accidents, mostly in vehicles, and where there was a no fault to be attributed. Their mission statement is to give treatment, care and support. In my case, for life. They told me that I was admitted into the scheme. I feel very lucky for that, because without LSA, I don't know where I'd be today. LSA initially decided that they'd put me in touch with the Royal Society for the Blind. They wanted to see if they could get me to read again, perhaps use a computer. Unfortunately, the Royal Society for the Blind are not geared up to help bilateral upper limb amputations. So I couldn't operate any of their gear, any of their computers. LSA quickly realised that the only way for me to be independent, at least in the home, was through voice activation. To this end, they partnered up with a firm called Stretchy Tech, and they are in the business of creating smart homes. Very quickly, Stretchy Tech came to the house, installed a large screen TV on the wall, much to the envy of my mates, I have to say. And adjacent to that was a Apple iPad. And straight away, Stretchy Tech taught me to use Siri to create emails and to send emails. This was a great game changer for me because this is the first time since my accident I had something to do, something to look forward to. I also then subscribed to the digital version of The Australian because I'm interested in politics and I like to see what's happening in the world. So I screen mirrored from the iPad onto the large screen TV. Obviously the print was increased in size and I'm able to read the newspaper every morning. That's something else I look forward to. They then installed fans in the home and they had them voice operated or voice activated with Alexa. The reason they put the fans in the house is because of the high degree of burns, the percentage of burns to my body cannot regulate its own temperature. So I have to be kept warm in the winter and cool in the summer. I've got an air conditioner, but the fans supplemented the air conditioning. They also wired up Alexa to operate the lights of the house. They also connected the outdoor blinds. We've got roller blinds on the outside, the outside blinds. We've got roller blinds on the outside of the house. And the one eye that I do have doesn't like bright sunlight, so in the height of summer, I have the roller shutters down, and they're operated by Alexa. I asked Stretchy Tech if they could help me, if you like, with the showering, because I wanted to be independent in the shower. So what they did is they connected up Alexa to the shower, so that Alexa would switch on the shower, turn off the shower, operate the heat lamp and the exhaust fan. They also installed a full-length dryer, very much like a lady's hair dryer, except it's full length, probably about 4 or 5 foot tall. It sits in the cubicle corner, the shower cubicle corner. It's called a Tornado. Makes a hell of a lot of racket, but it does the job. So there I am, I can shower myself reasonably well. I can certainly dry myself. It's a game changer for me because it means I can take myself off and have a shower anytime I choose. Fantastic. Stretchy Tech also realised that for me to be fully independent in my own home, I needed to be able to get in and out of the house on my own. So they gave me keyless entry. It's not operated by Alexa. I simply have a little tag on the small arm. I wave it across a keypad, and that operates a sliding door in the rear of the house, the front door, and the side gate. So in theory, if I'm dressed and Maura goes out shopping, I can nick up, have a coffee at the shopping centre, get back, and Maura doesn't even know I've gone. So, Alexa. She operates the TV, on, off, change the channels, volume, etc. She operates the fans. She operates the lights. She operates my roller, shutters. She turns my shower on and off, the heat lamp, and the exhaust fan. She also acts as an intercom between all the rooms. For the first time in my life, I have a woman in the house that does what she's asked. I'm only joking, of course. My wife knows I'm only joking. While all this was happening, LSA procured a prosthetic hand for me, and I'm wearing it now, obviously. It's called the iHand, the myoelectric hand. It works from picking up the minute signals that emanate from a muscle group when you move the muscles. These minute electrical signals are picked up by sensors in the hand. They go to what I would suspect would be a solid-state relay, and on the other side of the relay is the battery circuit. I've got a couple of batteries hanging off there. And these batteries operate small motors in the fingers. So I can open and close my hand. A wonderful piece of technology. Game changer for any upper limb amputee. Unfortunately, I can't maximise the use of this hand due to the nature of the amputation of my left arm. I've still got my wrist. It's seized, but I've still got my wrist. So the amputation is below the wrist. I don't have a palm and I don't have fingers. If I had the full hand, the full iHand, the full myoelectric hand, it would consist of the fingers, the palm, and the wrist. So I'd be able to turn my wrist, or the wrist, 360 degrees either way. That would maximise the use of the hand, obviously. That's not to say I don't use it. As I said, it does open and close. It's got a number of grips, so the grips can be programmed via on the mobile phone. So Maura, my wife, if I'm deciding that the next day I want to, say, pull a suitcase, then Maura would program the suitable grip. I could then switch the hand off, say get up the next morning, switch it on, put it on, activate my muscle group, and the hand would assume that grip suitable for pulling the suitcase. So it's very handy. It's not the sort of prosthetic that I would put on of a morning looking for things to do during the day. It's the sort of prosthetic that I would put on if I'd identified things that I needed to use it for during the day. And I think you'll find that's the case with most prosthetics that people wear. It's not terribly light. It weighs about 815 grams. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when it's hanging off the end of your arm, and if you did wear it all day, it would become quite heavy. As it is, if I use it for eating, then I have to rest my arm down on the table because it does get quite heavy. But as I said, it's a wonderful piece of technology, and they're still working on it now as we speak. They're still trying to do a few things to the hand to make them more user-friendly. I've talked to you this afternoon about what Stretchy Tech has done for me and how LSA has facilitated that, because let's face it, they paid for it. What I'd like to do is just, in the next few minutes, just give you an idea of what I've done for myself. When the accident happened, I was 66 years old. I was a very fit individual. I played competition table tennis. I used to run on the fun runs. I had a little boat. I used to go fishing with my mate. I rode a motorbike. Obviously, I drove a vehicle. In one day, all of that was lost. Something else was lost, and it's not obvious to all of you people because you're looking at my physicality, but I also lost one of my senses, my sense of touch. Because both of my limbs are grafted, it's like wearing 2 pairs of leather gloves. When I touch anything, I can see what I'm touching, but it doesn't feel that I'm touching what I am touching, if that makes sense. There's no tactile sensitivity there. I have to say in all truth that of all the disabilities I have, the loss of the sense of touch is the most devastating. Able-bodied people take it for granted. Obviously, we all do, or I did. But when you lose it, as I said, it's devastating. How do I overcome this sense of loss? How do I keep up my mental strength? I know this sounds simple, but I don't look back. I regard my previous life as a life well lived. I'm grateful for that. I regard this life that I've been given as a gift, and I intend to maximise that gift. I do that by looking forward. So I never look back, I look forward. Now, one of the things that helps me look forward, and I know this sounds a little trite, but it's the pursuit of happiness. Everybody likes to be happy. I heard many years ago, someone figured out that the average person needed three things, three requirements to be happy. They needed someone to love, something to do, and something to look forward to. Well, I'm very lucky in the first one, someone to love. I've got my dear wife, Moira. We've been married 43 years next month. I love her dearly. She's very special to me. Of course, having someone to love, I guess there's a fair bit of luck there. That doesn't mean that I want all of you this evening to rush away and sign up for the Tinder app. It's not what I mean. The second requirement is to have something to do. That's my biggest challenge. If I asked any one of you on any one day to list all of the things that you'd done that day, all the tasks that you had completed, write them down on a list. And then if I asked you to imagine that you didn't have any hands, and to delete on that list what you couldn't do because you didn't have hands, obviously 99% of the stuff on that list would be deleted. And that's my problem, finding something to do. I'm a doer, but it's very hard to do. Of course, I read the newspaper every morning. I've got an e-book. I like to read the e-book occasionally, but I can't, and I don't read it all day. I like to try and keep fit. I walk. I've got a little tricycle that I ride. But it continues to be a problem for me, the biggest challenge, having something to do. I like to talk. Surprise, surprise. I like to work and think about what I'm going to talk about. That takes time. It gives me something to do. But as I said, that's the biggest challenge. The last requirement for happiness is to have something to look forward to. Now, I believe that every person needs something to look forward to. It's that extra bit of spice in life. It doesn't have to be an expensive holiday. For instance, I look forward to, as I've already said, reading the newspaper. I look forward to going up and having a cup of coffee at the cafe of a day. I look forward to going to the cinema with my wife, catching up with my mates. I look forward to many things. Look forward to catching up with my kids and my grandkids. I think it's very important for all of us to have something to look forward to, whether it's tomorrow, next week, next month, or next year. So there are the 3 requirements for happiness. I'm sure if all of you have those 3 requirements in your life, then pretty much I reckon you're living a fairly happy life right now. In conclusion, can I say that if this accident had occurred, say, 20 years ago, then I wouldn't be where I am today. It's technology, innovation, technological innovation, especially in the health sector and in the disability sector, that has got me where I am right now, physically, mentally, and also with my rehabilitation. You know, if a person was disabled not so very long ago, their ability to cope or not to cope would have relied on their innate mental strength. What technology has done has helped negate some of the worst aspects of a disability. And I know I'm generalising here, but I believe has enabled most people with a disability to live at least a reasonable life, and certainly a life with a great hope for the future. For me, I hope that one day I'll get back my sense of touch. Technology has given me my independence, my sense of self, and given me back my dignity. It's helped me regain my life. I'd like to finish now with a very short video. You'll notice there'll be no Oscar nominations for me. There's not a smile to be seen. But let me assure you I'm smiling on the inside. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thinking of the appropriate Maori word to say. What's the word? Kia ora. Thank you very much.
I heard 3 tenets of what it's required to be happy. And I think it was on the radio many years ago, long before the accident. And I've never forgotten them. Someone to love, something to do, something to look forward to. The technology's assisted those 3 things, definitely.
Hey, Moira.
Yes?
Can you come in the garage, please?
Okay, I'll be there in a second.
The most important person in my life is my wife. We love each other dearly. Technology gives me independence. Independence means my wife doesn't have to help as much as she used to. That's very important to me. I'd like my wife to try and live her life as she did before, and to be able to leave me on my own here, which she was reticent to do initially, but now she thinks nothing of going out to the shops, going to visit her friend, and leaving me on my own because she knows that I'm very able in the house.
Turn on TV.
Okay.
Close north blind. Turn off lounge fan.
Okay.
Turn on lounge fan light.
Okay.
Launch the Australian.
I am a bit of a political animal. I like to know all about the politics of the day-to-day life. So I do enjoy reading the Australian. The biggest game changer would have to be being independent with regard to showering myself. You might say to yourself, well, how do you shower yourself when you haven't got any hands? Good question.
Turn on shower.
Okay.
I've got a soap dispenser on the right, which I can pump with this stump. And I hold this hand so the soap goes on that, and I can can move my body. The dryer, which is operated by my feet, then dries me. So I can now have a shower and dry myself and basically wait for the care worker to come and put the cream on. You want to minimise the number of hours anyone comes into this house to help you. They're only here now for a short period of the day, so we're very happy with that. I also have keyless entry to the house. When I swipe the keypad, it will open the doors, so it enables me to go out on my own, irrespective of whether Maura is with me or not, my wife, and come home, get in the house by myself. So I'm able to go to the shops and have a meal by myself, have a coffee by myself. Very, very big part of being independent as far as I'm concerned. And to be quite honest, I do like to be amongst people, going through their daily lives, rather than sit at home on your own. I like to sit there and watch the passing parade, if you like. I think if you don't have anything to look forward to in life, it doesn't matter how small it is, that little bit of a zest in life is lost. I look forward to going for walks, and going for a coffee, going out to the restaurant with my wife, going to the pictures with my wife. I was lucky enough to live through the accident, so basically I'm happy about that and determined to take the advantage that I've got of still being alive. That's basically my theory.